Hello, everybody. It's Ian here, CEO at We Offer Wellness, for another episode of Meet the Provider. And today we have Amanda from Liminal Connection. So, hello, Amanda. Welcome.
Hello, Ian. Thanks for having me here today.
And I'd love to see you, actually. Hey, look, where are you based? Let's start with that.
So I'm based in Kemsing, which is a quite a big village near Sevenoaks in Kent, UK.
Okay, yep. So, not too far from sort of Tunbridge, Maidstone. Easy to get to, sort of South London and Surrey, really, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm a 10-minute walk away from Oxford train station, which is half an hour from London. It's also good connections in terms of driving from Dartford and sort of North Kent as well. Yeah, and Surrey, I suppose, around the M25 if you fancy that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know the village you're talking about. Liminal connections, then. Tell us a little bit about that. What's the name? What's it mean?
Oh my gosh. Well, actually, it's really funny you should ask me that question because this is something I've been meaning to post on my own socials for a while about where the name came from. So my all of my work is all about connection. And I was participating in a 6-week coaching course a few years ago to sort of decide where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, who I think I can support. And they asked us to choose an image. And I will share the image actually on my socials again so that people can see because they'll probably link it from here. But it was this image of a woman which who is sort of covered in hands everywhere, and it was called Liminality by somebody called, I think it's Andrew Gibson, but again I'll tag him in the image. And so when I really thought about it, I recognized that where I was all about being in that liminal space. So at the time, I think I was thinking about training in breath work. I was already starting to do my Reiki practitioner training, and my background is mental health nursing. So all of what I do is about supporting people in that space of transition. So transitioning from one thing to the next, even if they're not sure where that is. So it just seemed to it was just the exactly the right word I needed to go with connections. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Put lovely as well, actually. Um, so look, with the website We Offer Wellness, we always wanted to create something. I often described it as like a bookshop. We were building and creating a bookshop, but the bookshop only has books on wellness. It's got lovely aesthetics, lovely lighting, lovely feels, very comfortable. You know, someone's walking down the high street and they see this bookshop and they, I've got to go in. I've got to, what's going on in there, right? And they come in and they might have an idea. They might think, well, I know I've heard of Reiki. I'm going to go to the R department. I'm going to go and search for books on Reiki. But during that experience, they get drawn to the D section or the B section, and then saying about breath work. What's breath work? Right? And then before you know it, you know, they've discovered loads of new things and they walked out the bookshop with a box full. All right. You know, and some things for their auntie and their family. So you, Amanda, what are the key words that somebody should be looking for if they dive into Wheel for Wellness and come across you? What's your area then?
So this has taken me a while to kind of figure it out myself, actually, in terms of wording, because I know what I do, but sometimes it can be hard for us to describe that in words. So the terms that I'm using now are really sort of ancestral and developmental trauma healing. And that comes from a place of where we are now, our ancestral lineages, our development from, from before birth, because we know that our experience starts before birth and how that affects us today. And yes, I suppose they're two of the words. The other one would be conscious connected breathwork, as I'm a conscious connected breathwork practitioner. And as I've already said, I'm a mental health nurse. So maybe mental health might appear somewhere, or emotional health, emotional well-being. Yeah, it's kind
Those
of
are
me in a nutshell.
some of the sort of the key areas. Absolutely. And that's what we want people to come and I'm glad you said connection because that's what we're all about. It was the idea of we connecting people with experiences that, you know, hopefully they're going to feel better for when they come out the other side, you know. So how did you start with all of this then? When did your sort of journey begin, you know, in this wellness world, Amanda?
I think I've always had um, a connection with spirituality. I didn't know what that looked like for a long time. I have a bit of a jaded past myself, and after I had children, that became apparent that actually I couldn't do the things that I had been doing before children, and I had to change things. So I think when I'd already considered moving into midwifery as a career, and that's something I wanted to do from a very young age, but life didn't send me on that path at the time. So where I am now and what has led me here is my journey actually in mental health nursing, because when I was looking at or started doing the sort of pre-work to become a midwife, somebody introduced me to mental health nursing, and I was like, oh, I haven't heard of this before, but actually it seems to be people's emotional and mental well-being that I'm more interested in than sort of delivering the babies and doing the physical care. So the journey for me obviously began from a very young age, and I had developmental trauma, and coming through into mental health nursing, and seeing what people experience on such a deep level that is so misunderstood even by many health professionals. I've worked with some amazing practitioners and some that are really stuck in their own kind of trauma. So I think my holistic journey, that's another word actually, my holistic journey began then when I started thinking, oh, so what happens if, somebody is taking a medication? What can they use alongside that to support them to process some of these deep rooted things that happen to us? Because we, as a society in the UK especially, tend to treat the surface level experiences, or they might be known as symptoms elsewhere, and we forget about the things that are causing that to happen in the first place. So I really sort of went deep into trying to identify my own experiences as well as supporting other people. And through that, I found breath work through an amazing practitioner who I trained with, Steph Magenta. And I have been practicing conscious connected breathwork now for about, I think it's about 9 years. We can't quite remember when we met, but I went along to a lot of her women's retreats and workshops and was really fascinated by this thing that I knew was there but couldn't quite identify. So breathwork took me really deep into my physical experiences, the experiences that I hadn't processed, even the experiences that I didn't really recognize were a thing. I thought, my view before that was, when you've had an experience, you kind of move on and that's it. But actually, those things are stored so deeply inside us, and breathwork really helped me work through some of that. And I had this is a bit difficult for me to say, but I'm going to be okay. So I had quite a big car accident last year with two of my children in the car, and throughout that, all I heard was my breath. And I'd already done my training, was doing my completing my training at that point, but that really anchored me to the most important thing. It's the first thing we do is breathe, and it's one of the last things we do is exhale. So just anchoring me to the time and now, and I use it as a tool. So it isn't my main practice, but I use it as a tool to help people access the things that they think are there, but they're not too sure what it is.
That's wonderful. Hey, I feel like I talk to you for hours, but we're not allowed to do that. Hey, look, please, people, come and seek out Amanda Liminal Connections, right, through Ruffle Wellness, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have an incredible time with you, and a very valuable time with you as well. And hopefully that will lead to other things, because I think, as you rightly put it, there's always going to be something more, something else to learn, something else to discover, something else to connect with, and it's all good. It's all good. So, Amanda, thank you ever so much for that. Then I'll see you around, and people, come and find Amanda, please.
Thank you.